Welcome to the second episode of this series. So today we're going to be doing a second section. Again, it's going to be an interesting GSAP effect. And this is going to show the services that we provide as either an agency, a consultant, a developer, anything that you want. This is where you can have your services listed. But first, let's go a little bit in the backend of Elementor hosting to see what we are dealing with here. So if you have seen the first episode of this series, you know that we're building this landing page plus on Elementor hosting. So and we're using Elementor as hosting as well, which is fantastic because we don't have to worry about anything else. So let's get into the video. All right, as you can see, we are in the backend of our website in Elementor, in the Elementor hosting dashboard. And as you can see here in the backend, we have an overview of our website. All right, so far we have created a website and we have edited our homepage, which is basically the landing page. All right, and we have not connected a custom domain yet, but you can do that. For now, we have this funny name here. All right, so what we can do from here is either go to WP admin, which is the dashboard backend of WordPress, and you can also access the pages, post, media library, or manage plugins from here right away. Okay, super easy. Or you can just edit the website. You can go to edit the website and it takes you to the Elementor editor. Okay, you can add right away a page from here, add a blog post, create a header, create a footer, etc. Amazing, right? If you want to do these things from here. We can also create a staging environment, but for now I don't think we need this. Important though, I love this and I always do this. I set up a backup because you never know what happens and you can lose your work. So I'm gonna set up a backup first. Let's just say fail proof site. Okay, and let's just create it and it's done. We have manually created a backup of our website. It's actually in process, but this is going to appear here. Okay, let's go to overview. We're going to come back to the backup to see how it looks after it has been created. And you can also see here on the overview, the last backup date and so on. And you can see the data center of our hosting is in Belgium. Also, just quickly before we start everything else, let's go to the advanced. And this is where you can see your hosting tools, your performance, your website performance. You can clear the cache from here, which I'm gonna do right away. Cache is cleared. This is a manual thing. Clear WordPress revision history as well. You can do that. I'm not gonna do it right now. Enable media fallback, and we have security, which is all set. You can limit traffic by country, which is amazing. You can add countries to the blacklist or block or allow countries, etc. This is fantastic. And so on and so forth. Site management. This is where you can also delete your website if you don't want it anymore. Delete the content only, but keep the website. You can transfer it out if you want. You can set up a maintenance window for your or date or day or whatever for the website to be under maintenance. All right, we said it. That's it for now. Let's go into our website and let's start building. So this is what we have built in the previous episode of this series. As you can see, we have grow and shrink effect here on this video. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit more visible, but because of the colors of the video, it's not. And as you can see, it's very cool. Yeah, we will add some effects on the text as well, but those effects are already on the channel. I'm not gonna go through them. I'm just gonna add the code at the end once we have finalized the series. Okay, so all these micro interactions that we have on the channel already, I don't want to go through them because they might make people angry. So I will just link them in the description below if you want to watch them separately. But for now, let's just focus on the effect of today. All right, so we're gonna add another section here, and this section will have our services. Right, I'm gonna drag in a container. I'm gonna set this to be full width and the height 100 VH and publish. All right, so we want our elements to have a content justified center, and they will sit in the center of the container. Okay, so let's go to advanced, and we are going to set the padding to be 150 top, 20 left, 20 right, and 150 bottom. And that is for this part. I'm gonna publish. As you know, I like to publish right away everything that I set on the page, just in case. And let's go to widgets, and I'm gonna look for a divider. I'm gonna drop that in here, and I want this divider to have a color of white. Let's just go back to the hero section, and I want to grab the color. I should save it. Maybe I should save it because I'm gonna use it quite a lot. And let's say white. All right, create the color, and let's go to the divider. Let's go to select white, and let's go and publish. And this is going to be very, very cool. You will see how this divider will slide in. Super cool. All right, so I need to set a class on this divider right away. Go to advanced and go to CSS classes and paste it in there. So first of all, I will be setting this. We're gonna have at least 3 dividers. I think you can add more dividers if you want, but for my example, I'm gonna have 3 dividers, and you can just copy paste them. So you set one, you can copy paste it in the section, okay? So you don't have to repeat it. All right, so we're gonna add another container in this. So this is a child container, yeah? That's how the structure looks. And let's set this to full width, and the height is going to be 25 VH. And I also am going to set the direction of the elements to be row horizontal, and I want them to be spaced between, yeah? I want them to have space between. And let's go to advanced, and I'm gonna have 2 classes here, okay? So I'm gonna just copy paste them. And one is reveal section and one is grow section. You will see how this will behave. Again, this container will be duplicated because we're gonna have the same elements in this section, okay? So it's going to be the divider, which is going to be 3 times, and it's going to be this container, which is going to be featured 3 times. All right, so in this container, I'm going to add a heading. So I'm gonna drop a heading in here, and this heading, okay, this is going to be very random in terms of what text I add literally here. It doesn't matter. I'm going to set the HTML tag to an H3, but this is of course up to you and how you want to set it up. I'm gonna go to style and set this to be white, and good that we set the color already as a global color. And let's go to look for inter. Okay, I'm gonna use inter as a heading as well. So set this to REM and go all the way to 3 REM. I think this might be a little bit too much, but we'll see. All right, publish. And the next thing we're gonna add in this container, it's going to be another container. Go to the container itself and go to the widgets and select a container widget. So this is going to hold our image. So I'm gonna go add an image widget in here right away. Set this to be full, and let's first set the size of our container, okay, because this is also very important. I'm gonna set this to be 35%, and the height is going to be 12 VH. I know it sounds very random, but these are the values that I have noticed work best with this setup. So I'm going to set a class on this container as well. So go to advanced, go to CSS classes and drop the class right here. But if you don't like the names of the classes that I'm using, you can change them, but you have to make sure that you change them in the code. So maybe it's not advised if you don't know exactly how to do that. Okay, I'm going to set the image at a later date, a later stage. For now, let's just focus on making this better, okay? So I'm going to go to the image widget, go to style, and we need to set here the width. So I'm going to say 76, or you can say 75 if you like. 75, let's say 75 max width as well, and 75% height, and set the object fit to cover. And now we're good. All right, so there is another container that we have to add in this container, in this parent container, in this section, to say better. So let me just close this. All right, so let me add another container in here, and let's set the container width to be 35. Yeah, There you go. No height. It's okay if we don't set a height. And we're gonna add two headings in here, okay? But first, let's set the direction of our container. So the direction is going to be column vertical and space between elements, okay? And let's go to advanced. And I'm gonna set a class on this element as well. Let's text wrapper. Let's publish, and now we are ready to add our headings. So I'm gonna copy this heading here, paste, and I'm gonna bring in my text. We're gonna change the size of it and everything else because it's a little bit too big. Set this to be a paragraph instead of an H3, and set this to be a size 1.2 and 1.3, I think it's fine, and set it to be 400 weight, and that's about it. Maybe 300? No, 400 is fine. Again, it depends on your font. All right, so we're gonna have it set to be this color white. All right, so I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna add my text. Let me just bring in my text, and again, super random, but it is what it is, and this is just a placeholder. Okay, I'm gonna publish. Yes, it's gonna look much better once we have images, but I'm gonna set that up a little bit later. Okay, so what we can do now is basically simply duplicating these two elements. So it's the divider that we have to duplicate, and then it's this container that is containing all these elements. So let's do them one by one. So duplicate, yeah, drag it, duplicate, the beauty of duplication. And then we have to just change the text, but maybe we're not gonna change it for the purpose of this video to be kind of shorter and to the point. Maybe we can leave it like this. Duplicate and duplicate. Did I miss something here? I think this is right. Okay. So yeah, let's just change the text so we can sort of differentiate and it looks a little bit more like it should. All right, we have another heading here. All right, let's have a preview. Okay, so we're scrolling. Okay, why is there so much space? Okay, that's weird. Okay, so this is not the whole thing. I'm gonna add more code, so this is going to change the way it behaves, okay? We don't want this kind of reveal, but there's something wrong here. Ah, okay, I was wondering what is going on here. Okay, that was interesting, to say the least. All right, so I forgot to set the headings here in the sections to custom size. We need to do that. Yeah, 25. Let me just copy and paste the style so we don't have to worry about not being the same. All right, let's just have another look. Yes, this is what I'm going for, more or less. All right, we need to add another container here for the purpose of scrolling experience. This will be deleted or replaced with another effect next week, next episode. Let's say 100 VH, yeah, for scrolling purposes only for now. All right, let's scroll, and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Okay, as I said, this is not the whole effect. Now we are going to be adding our GSAP. So I'm going to go in my HTML code here. And as I said earlier, since we are copying pasting a lot of these snippets, it's going to get a little bit rough in some ways. As you can see, I have to delete this part here already. Have to delete this part and also copy paste the part that is in the script and post it right in here. Yeah, this might complicate things. Let's see how the effect works now. All right, that is the moment of the truth. Let's go home, and this still works fine, and the effect works, but we need to add something here, and that something is a little bit more CSS because things need to work a little bit different. So I'm gonna go in the parent container, yeah, the container that holds all these sections. Yeah, so I'm gonna click on it and go to advanced and go to custom CSS and drop the CSS in here. And let's see what happened now. We're scrolling and we're scrolling, and this is the effect that we wanted. Yeah, but as you can see, we need to adjust a little bit the way the effect comes or lingers in. And for that, we can add some bold text here in the section, like a big text saying what this section is about. And in our case, is about services. So let's go and look for a heading, a widget. Let me just close everything to see where we are. So let me just go and add it at the top of the first container. Let's just go to this heading and copy the style and paste it right here, so we don't have to bother, and just change what this stands for. So this is services. Very important. All right, so let's see how it looks right now. I think we will still have to add some more space, but let's just have a look. Okay, services. And yeah, it's working okay. But what's happening here is that our effect does something that I don't like, which is kind of pushes in too fast. So we need to add a little bit more space under services. I think that is the solution right now. I'm going to go to the heading, go to advanced and go to margin. And I'm going to just add a bottom margin of 100, might be too much, maybe. Maybe not, maybe 150. So let's see, scrolling. All right. Because we need the time to read the actual text, or it's very important, right? All right, so we're gonna add a heading in here, right in the container. I'm gonna duplicate this one and let's set this to be something else. So let me just grab the style, copy and paste the style. Paste. Okay, very tiny. And let me just bring it in. And voila, that's it. And let me just set the width here. And this is going to be, I'll say 21. And let's set it to be in this kind of in the center of the section. And yeah, maybe let's just say 25. It's a little bit too much text. All right, publish. And let's see how it looks. Yeah, scroll. Okay, pretty cool. But I will say again, because we have the animation at the top that is interacting with the animation at the bottom, the effect is a little bit clunky. And this is what I meant when I said at the end of the this series, I'm gonna have a big code snippet containing all these codes, and this will be optimized so it works good if you are using all these effects on one page. Yeah, and if you don't want all these effects and you just want 2 of these effects, I would suggest just grabbing the code of the, let's say, 2 effects that you want and asking ChatGPT to optimize it for you. That is going to be very helpful. Okay, so let's just have another look. Yeah, this is a little bit too clunky, although in my tests and on the website that I have worked, it doesn't work really this. So there's some room for improvement in general. All right, so let's add our images here because it looks very sad without the images. So I'm gonna go and add images. Let's go to the media library and I'm gonna drag them all in here. So this is the first one, this is the second, and this is the third, I would say. And let's see. All right, set this one here. And yeah, they're very random, I know. But of course, you can place whatever images you have. And that's the point, right? It's your effect. This has, this doesn't have. All right, set this one here. All right, so let's see. I think actually the images have to have a little bit more height. And I think it should be okay to set it to 100. We just copy and paste the style. You can make it your own. Yeah. It looks much better this size. Sorry, it's now the blocking is because of my laptop. It's working overtime because I have so many things connected to it. All right, so let's go a little bit over the code. I want to look at some things and something that you can change if you want. All right, first of all, let me just turn on the markers. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of markers. These are used for debugging purposes. Yeah, so in our case, for example, look at this, we have 3 sets of markers. Okay, so this is where our animations start and end. Okay, and as you can see, we're scrolling and we can see where they start and where they end. And you can change the start and end of one of the animations, for example, from here, or the other animations. Let's say 90%, This one is for the grow section, image wrapper, image elements. So it's for these sections, right, that hold all our elements, these ones. Yeah, and you will see the position of the respective marker changing here. So yeah, you have to play around to see what works for you. Okay, I'm gonna turn them off. And also, this is where you change your classes if you have renamed the elements, the classes differently than I did. I'm gonna publish this, and by the way, I moved the code for the grow shrink of this element to the Elementor custom code, so it's right here, right where we have LENIS as well. So I created a new code and I dropped it in here, updated, published, and that's it. All right, so that's about it, to be honest. I think, let me just go, I think there's something else, and that is, one second, where is it? I don't even know where it is. It's this one, yes, where we have our CSS, and you can see you can change the transform translate X, basically the start off screen of the slide in. Yeah, you can change it to 100. I think originally I had it 100. What if I say, let's say see what happens if I put it to 150. All right, and then yeah, that's about it. Also, this part here is for the section divider, the divider. Yeah, so if you change it to left, let's see what happens. It's supposed to start on the left. Yeah, let's see. Scroll, and they start on the left. Yeah, I mean, this is one way to do it if you want, but I'm gonna switch to right. So yeah, I think that was much better. Let's see if we do this. You have to play with the values all the time, because it depends very much on what you have on your page, on what section of the page is the effect, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I don't see it to be affected too much by these changes here, so I'm gonna just leave it at 100. All right, so another thing that I did off screen, I went to the main container, yeah, went to layout and set the overflow hidden, because if you don't, so let's just say we set it to default for now, as you scroll, you will get this horizontal bar that you don't want to have. All right, as you can see, it's not very appealing. So make sure that this is turned to hidden. All right, that is all for this video. And this is the second video of this series. So I'll see you in the next episode. All right, coming next week. If you'd like to see what else you can build with Elementor, watch this playlist here or here. And if you have gotten any value out of this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video, and I'll see you next time.